Yo, what's going on, guys? It's your boy Cheesy One Piece, and I'm here back with another video. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video, we're going to be talking about the one and only Donquixote Doflamingo. Okay, so we're going to start off first with why do I like Dofi as a character? Well, I feel in my heart that Dofi is an all-around character. He has a great backstory, a great fight, and then the story arc around him is just great, and so it's my favorite story arc personally. So let's talk about his past. So he was born in Mirishaw as a war noble. And then as he grew up until about the age of 7 to 9. Then his father decided that he didn't agree with what the royal nobles were doing. So he took his family down to the normal sea that we know and love. And basically took them from a life of a god in the One Piece world to living in trash heaps, basically. And him, his mother, his father, his brother, Corazon, which I'll touch on to later, went down there, and their life was basically terrible. They were basically tortured, chased around, had to move from place to place, which wasn't really a place to live. It was more garbage than anything, because they were nobles at that, like, before they went down. All the people of the One Piece world hated them because they were war nobles, and the war nobles aren't liked in the One Piece world. Plus, touch on his relationship with his brother Corazon. So they grew up together, and after Dofi killed his father and got the Ito no Mi and formed the Doflamingo family, they got split up, basically. Corazon went with Sengoku to become a marine, and Dofi went down the life of the pirate in the north. So next we could talk about how the crew formated. So he originated with Virgo, Pika, and Treble in the north, as they started the very first Doflamingo family. But now, as we know, he became a warlord sometime in that span of then in the Dressrosa arc, right? So the way that the crew is set up is the suits of the playing cards, and when I say suits, I mean like diamonds and stuff like that. So each one of his commanders, basically, and the captains of ships and the captains of the divisions, basically, are assigned a suit, basically. So diamonds, they all have different suits, and yeah, basically that's how the crew, and they all do different things. One does recon, intel, just a fighting group, stuff like that. So now we can touch on how did he take over Dressrosa exactly. So it's a long story, but I'm gonna try to shorten it down for you guys. So basically, there was this beloved king in Dressrosa, and all the citizens in the kingdom loved him. And Dofi saw his opportunity to control the king using the Ito no Mi, basically like a puppet, pulled the strings and made the peaceful, wonderful king that everybody knew and loved. he made him per se attack civilians and just go on a killing spree that he didn't want to do, like, inside of his heart. But Dofi was controlling him using the Ito no Mi's powers to pull strings on him, basically like a puppet, as I said, and have him just murder countless people. So after that, Dofi and his crew, they came into Dressrosa, defeated the king, which was very easy because the king wasn't doing all this in the first place. So they defeated the king, and basically the citizens of Dressrosa looked up to Dofi as a savior from then on out. And then it was very easy for Dofi to become basically king or ruler of Dressrosa very shortly after that. So yeah. Now I'm going to talk about his fight with Luffy, why he ultimately lost the fight. So the fight with Luffy at first wasn't even a Luffy fight. It started off as him fighting with Law. Then he thought that he had killed Law, which we know didn't happen. But then Luffy saw that he was about to basically crush Law's head, and then Luffy came in and stopped him with his foot. So then the battle escalated from there. Dofi had activated the bird cages at that point, and he was ready to go almost basically all out against Straw Hat Luffy. So they start fighting, everything going swell, and I'm gonna fast forward basically to the end of it, how he lost. So he activates the 16 heavenly bullets, and basically he goes to like pierce Luffy with armor and haki with the 60 heavenly bullets, as I said. And basically Luffy counters with a giant Kong gun. Now the reason why didn't Dofi block, you might be asking. The reason why Dofi didn't block was because he didn't think that it would be so strong, because he's been a warlord for so long, he's been ruling over Dressrosa for so long. he thought that it wouldn't damage him at all. He thought it would be like, oh, a kitten scratch basically. And we all know what happened after that. After Luffy had punched him, Luffy went rocketing into the ground, made a huge crater in the earth basically. So next, okay, so next we're gonna talk about his connections in the underworld of the One Piece universe, of the world basically. So his nickname was the Joker. Again, touching on the cards and stuff, and basically he controlled a lot. He was connected to a lot of people. He was controlling Caesar Clown, which basically he was controlling Caesar, which means that he was controlling the production of the Smile Devil fruits. And once Caesar constructed those, it shipped them off to Dressrosa to actually make them into the fruits. And then he shipped them off to Kaido, the Yonko, to give them all to his crewmates and make them stronger, basically. So we could start with Caesar connection. So he was basically telling Caesar what to do and how to do everything, and made sure that all the smiles and the sad stuff got produced. So in turn, he was controlling everything from the ground up till giving them to the Yonko, Kaido. So, and he also was ruling over Dressrosa and had a bunch of connections in the underground of the One Piece world. We saw with Bellamy that he was a part of the crew, but he also left Dressrosa. Him and his crew left Dressrosa to go do other things as well. So we know that he had a very expansive crew, and his crew wasn't all in one place. They were all across the seas, the Grand Line, the East, doing different things for Dofi, but still having the Jolly Roger on their ship. And we could talk about the Jolly Roger actually. So it's kind of like Laws if you've seen it. It's like a big smile, but like an X through it, kind of. Let me see if I have Laws somewhere here. I can't find it right now, but yeah, it's kind of like that. I don't have a picture of it. I'll put one up on screen if I find it. But yeah, so then we go to the Dressrosa part of his reign. He reigns over Dressrosa for a number of years before Luffy and Law and the Straw Hats go there. So basically, we see how he rules for a short period of time. We see how he like controls the citizens. How he has, like, if they don't do it, he says he has sugar turn them into toys, and they lose all memory. So basically, everybody who doesn't like obey Dofi or do what he wants is turned into a toy, and everybody forgets that they existed, as what happened with Kairos. And yeah, so he produces all of the smiles in Dressrosa, like in house. Once they're done, he goes to Kaido. Kaido pays for them and gives them to the what's the word I'm looking for? The members of the Beast Pirates, basically. So he's connected to a lot of different organizations and things. He's connected to Kaido. He's connected to Dressrosa. He's connected to Caesar Clown. He's connected to Bellamy. All those different things that you would have never thought that one pirate could be controlling. Dofi's doing everything, basically. Okay, so the crew originated in the North Blue, like I said, and with the original members. Yeah. So going back to his backstory, we can talk about his parents. Okay, so his relationship with his parents wasn't the greatest after they left Marichua. They were moving around from trash heap to trash heap, and his father basically he put them in that situation. So Dofi blamed his father after his mother died for his mother passing. So in that act, Dofi started to resent his father and hate his father for what he had done, which in turn was killed his mother. So when Dofi met up with Trouble, Virgo, and Pika, they gave him a pistol and the Ito Ito no Mi and told him to do what he had to do, basically. So one day, Dofi went up while Corazon was hugging his father, basically. Dofi went behind him and shot him in the head, and then he tried to return his father's head to Marichua to basically get him back in as a Celestial Dragon. But then they declined him. They said, your father made a decision for your whole family. Y'all left. And that's that. You cannot come back. So, yeah. Now onto the Ito Ito no Mi itself. Now, you would think the string strength with the power to control strings isn't that powerful. But when put in the right hands, it could be a huge threat to humanity itself. So, a couple of things that Dofi can do is basically fly or swing around like Spider-Man by connecting his strings to clouds or buildings and just swinging off of them, basically like Spider-Man, like I said. Another thing he could do is create a whole clone of himself out of the string. And we saw that when Kairos tried to slice off Dofi's head. When he did it, it was revealed to be a string clone. So that's a pretty powerful ability in itself. Another one is that he can control other people. Now that's a very big thing in the One Piece world, because if you can control somebody that's very powerful and they make them bend to your will and do whatever you want, you could change the whole world. So say he starts controlling Akainu, the fleet admiral of the Marines, and he gets in there and starts controlling him and just starts slaughtering every single Marine that there is at Marineford HQ. So that's just like a thing that he could just do on a dime if he wants to, and makes other people do anything he wants. Another thing is the birdcage, which is it's not really an awakening. So basically, he makes this giant cage from the ground out of string that comes up from the ground over a certain place, like we saw during Dressrosa. Yeah, so basically it looks like a bird cage, as the name suggests, but it entraps everything, and he can make it close or make it expand at his will. And the last thing he could do is coat the strings in armament haki and then launch them at an opponent. So basically, he can make strings sharp at the tip and then coat them with armament haki and then shoot them at the opponent like he did with Luffy at the end of the battle.